Hey folks, how's it going? I wanted to make a quick little video on kind of how the lab works and stuff. Uh, we've got a bunch of people have kind of figured out how the class works and got their pre-labs in and hopefully working on density worksheet for tonight and stuff. But there are some people who I don't have any pre-labs yet from, and there's actually two that have gone past due at this point. So need to kind of get caught up on that stuff. This class, it flies by. It's just a heavy load, and you just got to stay on it. It's rough, I know. But the schedule is in the syllabus. The first thing I would implore you guys to do is please read the syllabus. Just read through it so that you understand the workings. I will try to give you sort of the Cliff Notes version here, but really read through the syllabus so that you know kind of and know that schedule of when things are due and stuff. The pre-labs in general. Sorry, let me bring it up real quick. Hang on a sec. I'm just looking. I want to make sure I got the days of the week right. So, the pre-labs are due on Thursdays and Saturdays. Student pre-lab. Okay, that's what you do. You create the student pre-lab. It doesn't take a lot of time. It's pretty fairly easy thing to do. And then the actual assignments that you're going to submit after watching the experiment videos, those are due on Mondays and Wednesdays. So Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, you got something to hand in this class all semester long. I know it's tough, but that's what happens when you try to take 15 weeks of stuff and scrunch it down into 7 weeks. You are saving a lot of time that you actually aren't going into commuting all the way to the lab twice a week. That's the way this is normally done when it's not online. Is you got to go into the lab, do the experiments twice a week, and then do all this stuff, everything. So it is nice that you get to watch the videos, and the videos are often much quicker than the actual if you were going to do the experiments yourself. So there is just for the online version, there is some things that make it a little bit faster for you. So so this is, in general, this is the Cliff Notes on how the class works. There are some procedures that are posted for all the experiments that we do. And those are the procedures that you would ordinarily, if this was an in-person class, you'd read them beforehand so that you were prepared. And then you'd go into the lab and you'd use those procedures to conduct the experiment. And those are all posted on Blackboard. Okay? So the first thing you need to do is you need to read that procedure. Okay? The goal is to get you in the habit of reading procedures before you do anything else. So you read the procedure, okay? And then you prepare and submit a student pre-lab. Okay? And there is a template on Blackboard on how you do that. It's a experiment overview, just kind of like, what are we doing with the experiment? Oh, we're investigating data of a regular object, an irregular object, and a liquid, and then we're doing some unknowns, that kind of thing. And then any sort of data that you're going to collect, you want to create pukas for that. You want to create a table. Oh, okay, I'm going to be measuring mass of calcium carbonate. All right, I want a little place where I can write that down. So you want tables and stuff like that. Any formulas that you might be using, I better put the formula for density and stuff like that. Not too hard for the density one. And then when you're using chemicals, you want to look up the chemical on Wikipedia. Is a great place. I know it's controversial for other parts of the world, but for chemical information, it's fantastic. And it'll give you the chemical hazards. That's something that you need to get into the habit of doing. Before you go use a chemical in the laboratory, you should have read up on what the chemical hazards are. And anymore, we describe chemical hazards with these pictograms, these little pictures, or looks like a little bit of dynamite exploding if it's a pyrophoric, skull and crossbones if it's toxic, and that kind of thing. So check out the template. You'll see what I'm talking about. These aren't too hard to prepare. You can prepare them pretty quick. Okay, so you read the procedure, you prepare a student pre-lab, and you submit it. Then you watch the lecture pre-lab. Those both have the pre-lab word in them, but they're very different things. There's one that you create without ever watching any video at all, just but from reading the procedure. I guess you wouldn't print it out. Maybe you'd print it out, but probably on your computer. Read the procedure, create the student pre-lab, and then you watch the pre-lab lecture. That's where we discuss like the theory and some of the calculations that you're going to do for that particular lab and stuff. Okay, those are, anywhere from 25 minutes to an hour typically. And they're very similar to what I would do if we were meeting in person. I would do, they are just video versions of what I would do. So you watch the pre-lab lecture, and then you watch the experiment lecture. Or I'm sorry, the experiment video. The experiment video, which is it's me doing the experiments that you would have been doing. Again, I typically do them much faster than when students do them themselves. I don't do replicates. A lot of the experiments, we're going to do 3 replicates. Not in these videos. I just do 1 replicate. There's no sense in having you watch me do it 3 times. And then while you are watching the video, watching the experiment video, you want to write down a procedure, and it doesn't have to be. It shouldn't be paragraph form. That's not, the best procedures are written in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That kind of list style. It doesn't have to be good English. No good English. Sorry, but it needs to be clear. And the bar that I use when I evaluate did you do a good job on it is, could I take your procedure and take it into the lab and use only your procedure? If I had never done the experiment, could I use your procedure to do it? Okay. And what you may say, wait, I read a procedure. Why? I already read the thing. It's printed out. Don't copy that, because I do the experiments in the videos in a little bit different style, and not just to be annoying. That's what happens very often in a laboratory situation. If you're doing research and stuff, you read a procedure, but then when you actually go do it in the lab, for various reasons, you might make small little adjustments, you might do it in a different order, so forth and so on. And you always need to be in the habit of writing down what you did in a laboratory environment. Write, record. Okay. And then I also give some helpful hints, general things and stuff. Like one of my favorite ones I put in a lot of the videos is assemble your glassware dry. Make your whole setup and everything, attaching all the glassware and the clamps that hold it and stuff. Do all that without any chemicals, and then take it apart to go get your chemicals. It's a lot safer that way. So there'll be a place for maybe 3 to 6 helpful hints, observations. Okay. For some people, so you watch the pre-lab lecture, and then you watch the experiment video. You can then try to do the assignment, do the calculations. The assignments are pretty self-explanatory. They're all posted on Blackboard. If you're having a hard time doing the assignment, what some students have done in the past is watch the pre-lab lecture, regular speed, don't speed it up. Watch the experiment, okay? And then sometimes students will watch the pre-lab lecture again if they're really struggling with with completing the assignment. Okay, maybe that second time through you can speed it up a little bit. Whatever works for you. For a lot of these, you have individualized data. Your last name is on an Excel sheet for the density assignment. Your last name is on an Excel sheet that gives you the data that you're going to be using, and everybody's data is different. So that is the case for all but 3 of the experiments. For chemical reactions 1, there's no individualized data. Everybody's using the same things that they see in the experiment video. It's a lot of like writing down the balanced chemical equation and so forth and so on. And then specific heat. For specific heat, you're actually going to use the values that you see in the video itself. Okay. And then for the very last one, which is molecular models, again, you're using what you see in the video. There's no individualized data. But for the rest of them, there's individualized data. Okay. One thing I want to beg you guys, please don't share your work. Do not share your work. I beg of you, don't do this. I will find it, and I will have to call you on it. and it involves sometimes meetings with deans and failing class and horrible stuff that makes everybody very sad, and myself most of all. So just resist that temptation. I say in my academic thing that you all have read and everything, sometimes you just got to take your knocks in life. I got to hand in this one late, and that's it. Hey, we all fall short sometimes, me more than anybody. But don't cross that line. Don't get so stressed by falling a little bit short that you cross that line, because it always comes back to haunt you, and it's just not worth it. Okay, sorry for that ugliness. One bit of good news, if you haven't read the syllabus and figured this out by now, a lot of you I think have, but I introduced a brand new policy this summer called skips. You get to skip, if you'd like, 2 assignments, okay? But there's a caveat. Remember, where you write down the procedure of what you saw, you still got to do that for every single one. You got to watch every single experiment video and write down the procedure. But if, when doing the assignment, which is kind of that's the challenge part to you, if you decide you want to skip that one, at the very top you write skip, my skip number 1. And then the next time you do it, my skip number 2, okay? At the bottom, there's where the place is for the procedure. You still have that filled out, and you submit it like that. And you all get 2 skips if you want, okay? I think that's a reasonable, I'm comfortable with making that sort of a compromise, given that we're doing this in 6 weeks. Okay? All right, guys. You can do this. I promise you can do this, but you have to get on a schedule, and you have to, you just got to get on it. Just start moving fast and stuff. Okay? All right, let me know if you guys have questions. Please get your stuff in that hasn't gotten in yet. Got to get that in. Okay? And, yeah, I'll see you soon. Take care.